Welcome to the inner chamber, beyond ritual, a place for reflection in a noisy world. Today, let's talk about when your role is undefined. When circumstances create a family like space, sometimes life brings people together in ways nobody planned. A parent might find themselves needing help, a child may need stability, and someone else may simply choose to open their door. Maybe it's a relative, a family friend, a trusted adult, or someone who simply sees a need and decides to help. There may be no marriage, no relationship, no official title, just people trying to make the best of an unexpected situation. But something happens when people begin sharing everyday life. You begin eating together, talking together, solving problems together. You begin noticing things about one another. And when a child is part of that environment, another adult may naturally begin to care about that child's well-being. They encourage, they provide, they protect, they observe. They begin caring about who that child is becoming. And without anyone officially announcing it, responsibility begins finding its way into their hands. But there may be one question nobody ever stopped to answer. What exactly is their role? Responsibility can arrive before authority is defined. When everything is going well, that question may not seem important. Everyone may simply be grateful that the arrangement is working. But sometimes everything appears peaceful simply because an undefined boundary hasn't been tested yet. Then one day something happens. The other adult notices behavior in the child that concerns them. They say something. The parent responds. And suddenly an observation about the child becomes a disagreement between adults. Not necessarily because either person wanted conflict, not necessarily because either person doesn't care about the child, but because they just discovered something. They were operating according to different understandings inside the same home. The disagreement didn't create the undefined boundary, it revealed it. The parent never stops being the parent. Helping someone with their child does not make that child yours. Opening your home does not transfer parental authority. Providing financially does not purchase a voice in every parenting decision. And caring deeply about a child does not automatically make you their parent. The parent's responsibility remains. Their responsibility to protect remains. Their responsibility to make decisions concerning their child remains. But another truth can exist at the same time. The parent's authority does not mean another caring adult's observations have no value, especially when that person is sharing everyday life with the child. Because sometimes proximity allows another person to see something the parent may not see. And sometimes caring means being willing to speak about what you see. When two responsibilities meet, but there may be another boundary nobody considered. One adult is responsible for the child. The other adult may be responsible for the home. And when a parent and child are living in someone else's home, those responsibilities can eventually intersect. One person may be thinking, I'm protecting my child, while the other is thinking, I'm responding to something happening in my home. Neither responsibility automatically cancels the other. But without understanding where one begins and the other ends, a collision may simply be waiting for the moment that exposes it. When guidance feels like interference, sometimes an observation about a child can sound like criticism of the parent. Concern can feel like judgment. Guidance can feel like interference. And a parent may feel the need to protect their child even when the other adult never intended harm. But the other adult must also examine themselves. Am I simply sharing what I observed? Am I helping? Or have I begun assuming authority that was never given to me? Both people have something to examine, because protecting a child matters, but so does recognizing when protection is actually needed. And caring about a child matters, but so does respecting the boundaries of the parent. The child is watching, while the adults are trying to determine where authority belongs. The child is learning. The child is learning whose words matter. The child is learning how adults handle disagreement. The child is learning what respect looks like. And the child is learning where the boundaries are. Sometimes before the adults have defined them. Because a boundary adults never discuss may eventually be defined by circumstances. And when that happens, the child can find themselves standing in the middle of an adult disagreement they never created. It still takes a village. There was a time when the ideal of a village helping raise a child was easily understood. A teacher could offer guidance. A coach could recognize potential. A grandparent could share wisdom. A neighbor could notice something concerning. A mentor could speak into a young person's life. None of them replaced the parent. They simply became part of what surrounded the child. And perhaps we still need that village. Not a village that ignores parental boundaries. Not a village that assumes authority it was never given. But a village filled with trustworthy people willing to care about children they did not create. Because sometimes the person who sees something may simply be trying to help. Define the boundary before the boundary is tested. If another adult is going to share daily life with your child, there are conversations worth having before something goes wrong. What is their role? What can they address? What should always come directly to the parent? What expectations exist inside the home? What happens when the child's behavior affects someone else living there? What happens when the adults disagree? And perhaps most importantly, how do we handle those moments without placing the child between us? Because responsibility needs clarity. Authority needs agreement. Protection needs wisdom. Care needs boundaries. And everyone sharing that space needs to understand where they stand. Sometimes the problem isn't that someone deliberately crossed a boundary. Sometimes the problem is much simpler. Nobody ever defined where the boundary was.